Hello everyone. An understanding of materials, how to source them, use them, and even create them is a defining characteristic of the human species. Indeed, the evolution of culture itself is inextricably bound within the material world. Materials are the foundations of art, craft, architecture, design, agriculture, industry, and trade. The NGV exhibition, History in the Making, draws on the gallery's collection to showcase contemporary design across diverse creative fields, including limited edition craft and design, as well as mass-produced goods and fashion, to provide insight into the physical properties and origins of materials and explore the design histories and narratives that have merged over time to better understand the implications of material production in the present. Through a simple set of classifications, animal, plant, mineral and synthetic, the works in the exhibition offer dialogues between the past, present and future of materials, and broad perspectives are presented on social, ethical, environmental, economic and technological issues that are driving present-day innovation, debate and change. Looking to the relationship between humans and other animal species, the first works in the exhibition examine how the complex and often unbalanced relationship between human and animal has shaped material culture and continues to do so. Whether founded in traditional cultural practices or not, the hunting and domestication of different animal species is fundamental to many human societies, but the impact of intensive animal farming on animal welfare and the environment is still very much being questioned. And international treaties now exist for the conservation and protection of some animal species. Yet these are persistently at threat from poaching, habitat destruction and climate change. The first works on display in the exhibition reveal examples of this paradigm through objects made from some of the materials commonly obtained from animals, including feathers, fur, skins, bones, shells, and even corals. As illustration of this, we look to the work by First Nation peoples who have sustainably worked with animals for the creation of artwork and cultural objects in the fulfilment of traditional practice. Yolngu artists from Elcho Island, Galiyal Karaway's Morning Star poles draw attention to the use of feathers in ceremonial objects made for the Bunambur ceremony carried out by members of the Dulwa Moti in northeastern Arnhem Land. And introducing the creation of laws and legislations aimed at safeguarding animal species in the wild from commercial hunting, Russian-born Sol Shapiro's armchair from 1973, upholstered in sealskin from his homeland, draws our attention to the signing of the North Pacific Fur Seal Convention in 1911, the first international treaty to address the preservation of wildlife. It set a precedent for future environmental protection acts and treaties. In contrast, contemporary Western attitudes to animals as a source of infinite material are also on display, with cow leather in clothing and furniture, enabled by industrial livestock production. First practiced by Paleolithic peoples, the process of tanning animal skins to create leather is one of the earliest material inventions for clothing. From the humblest origins, providing warmth and protection from the elements, to fashion and the iconic biker's jacket reinterpreted by Australian fashion label Discount Universe, the pervasive use of leather today in commercial goods and products, some could argue has left the animal in the material invisible. In a similar way, Mark Newson's dinner set from the Qantas A380 project is mass-produced in bone china, a composition of cow bone ash, kaolin and feldspar. Invented during the Industrial Revolution in 1748 in the United Kingdom, bone china proved a versatile porcelain variety for mass manufacturing of standardised consumer products. Exploring further how materials derived from animals are connected to processes and systems of making, Brazilian designers Estúdio Campana's hippopotamus sofa is a unique, one-of-a-kind work, meticulously hand-woven using natural fibres in combination with cow leather procured from industry. This impressive work challenges audiences to consider the relationship between art, craft and design, and the enduring techniques that humans have developed working with leather over thousands and thousands of years. Alongside animals as a primary source of materials, History in the Making reveals the even greater importance of plants, deeply enmeshed within human life, society, culture and economies. The unique physical and mechanical properties of different plant species has given rise to countless applications and a diversity of craft practices, technological innovations and industries have developed alongside agriculture and forestry, leading to a vast marketplace of plant-based products, including textiles, timber, rubber latex and biopolymers. Referencing one of the oldest utensils made by humans, Martin Corbin's set of spoons from 1984 celebrates the unique attributes of 25 different wood species in the hand carving of small functional objects, while Julia Mannheim's bangle from 1977 is carved in reclaimed ebony, one of the most critically endangered plant species on the planet, threatened by illegal logging and forest clearing in Africa and Southeast Asia. Supply chains and the sale of ebony is tightly regulated. Similarly, Huon pine, Australia's oldest living tree species, endemic to the rainforests of Tasmania, is illegal to fell, and access to timber from dead trees is both managed and supervised. Anton Gerner's Huon Pine sculptural drawers from 2019 is crafted from a 200-year-old block of salvaged timber, respectfully sawn and reassembled to minimise wastage. This piece is likened to a three-dimensional jigsaw puzzle with a beautiful hand-carved surface, an exemplary piece of cabinetry. The designer maker's respect for the material is evident in the work's construction, alerting us to the prefabrication of a single-use product with its origins in the 19th century. Lucy McRae's prickly lamp uses 60,000 hand-dyed timber toothpicks to encase the body of a lamp in a protective layer. Invented by American innovator Charles Foster in 1870, his patented machines could produce millions of toothpicks per day, heralding our contemporary era, where the small act of picking one's teeth with a seemingly innocuous and inconsequential object results in vast production and waste. And drawing attention to the vast timescales of organic materials, Damien Wright's 5:45 p.m. bench seat features a shimmering slab of river red gum cut from a 10,000-year-old tree. Buried for so long, the wood has been starved of oxygen and saturated with iron and silica, resulting in a material that is part wood and part fossil. And this process reminds us that when buried for millions of years, organic materials, plants and trees can transform further into organic compounds, including crude oil, a fossil fuel and a key ingredient in the production of the ubiquitous white polypropylene plastic chairs we see in the work. Meanwhile, Jean-Louis Iritsaki's Cuscoa Bee armchair from 2014 signals the acceleration of a biomaterial revolution, where industry no longer uses fossil fuel-based plastic polymers. This first commercial chair, thermoformed in a bioplastic derived from beet, cornstarch and sugar cane, is designed to decompose and return to organic matter at the end of its long and useful life. The extraction, refinement and use of minerals is fundamental to the development of material culture, technology, industry, supply chains and economic systems. Prized for their natural chemical properties as the basis for metals or resources for energy production, minerals have long been searched for, mined, traded, refined and put to work in the service of everyday life. For thousands of years, mineral extraction to produce metals, alloys and glass was relatively small in scale. Modern systems of commodity extraction and trade, propelled by developments in metallurgy, engineering and of course the Industrial Revolution, have enabled vast industries to emerge. Through their efficient extraction of minerals such as iron ore, bauxite and many others, these industries have fundamentally reshaped human civilization. 3D printed in an infinitely recyclable alloy comprising bauxite ore, Joris LeAmon's microstructures gradient chair prototype from 2014 is made in aluminium. An often forgotten fact is that aluminium was once more expensive than gold in the 19th century due to the energy-hungry process required for its production. By the 20th century, cheap coal-fired electricity transformed the process and production soared and prices plummeted. And global demand for the lightweight alloy turned it into the second most commonly used metal after iron. And today, it's interesting to note that Australia is the world's greatest producer of bauxite. Now considered one of the most significant alloy inventions of the 20th century, stainless steel is valued for its hygienic properties, corrosion and heat resistance, strength and formability. Michael Gidding's standing cabinet from 2019 demonstrates the Australian designer and metalworker's exemplary control to heat, to cut, shape and weld this shiny alloy. Metallurgist Harry Brearley of Sheffield in the UK was credited with the invention of chromium steel in 1913, while in pursuit of a solution for the mass production of inexpensive hygienic cutlery. And stainless steel is now used on everything from kitchenware and medical equipment to architecture and aerospace. But few materials have played such an important role in shaping human culture as glass. Chini Boweri and Tomu Katayangi's Glass Ghost armchair from 1997 sits in a continuum of material innovation using molten quartz sand, commencing in 4000 BC and perfected by British engineer Alastair Pilkington in the 1950s, resulting in flat, uniform, thick sheet glass, which has proven fundamental in the realisation of the global city, characterised by its skyscrapers, transit networks and technology made on sand. Formulated in chemical laboratories, synthetic materials were developed in the 19th and over the 20th century. Cheaper and more reliable to produce, the invention of synthetics was stimulated by the scarcity and high cost of natural materials such as ivory, silk and natural latex rubber. Accelerating since the 1930s, industrial use of petrochemical-based acrylics, polyesters, silicas and polyurethanes has dramatically transformed the material world. Recognising the useful role synthetic materials performed in modern society, their impacts, both positive and negative, come with costs. as this new synthetic kingdom comprises non-degradable materials. Put to use in vast quantities in contexts not supported by adequate recycling and disposal, huge amounts of waste and pollution are having unanticipated effects on human health and the Earth's natural systems. An example of this, where the true benefits and costs of a material remain unclear, is Zhuzen's sofa Turbulent from 2015, made from polyurethane foam. Revealing what is nearly always hidden, this sofa draws attention to one of the most popular materials used in home furnishings today, providing comfort and support in the form of billions of mattresses and items of furniture. But the softness of this material that many of us lie on belies a more turbulent side, as polyurethanes, like many synthetics, release toxic compounds when they degrade, decompose, or are burnt, making them one of the most problematic synthetics for recycling. Another common synthetic is polypropylene, the world's second most commonly produced plastic. Dutch couture house Victor and Rolf's coat and dress in the exhibition achieves its exaggerated silhouette using the tulle netting and a crinoline underlayer of polypropylene. Manufactured since the mid-1950s, polypropylene is produced from a gas compound, commonly extruded or moulded. The versatility of polypropylene is such that it's contributed significantly to the proliferation of non-degradable goods over the last century. But on the upside, it can be recycled into new products. And a terrific example of recycling plastic is Dirk van der Koe's Endless Chair from 2010, which is 3D printed using polycarbonate reclaimed from the interiors of old refrigerators. Driven by enhanced consumption and urban development, humanity's use of materials in the 21st century is supposedly exceeding all the materials used throughout history. The amount of human-made mass, including concrete, metals, plastics and more, now exceeds the overall living biomass on Earth. Predisposed to issues of sustainability, ethics and politics, materials are not neutral. Because of this, designing and making today carries with it enormous responsibility, as demonstrated by the exhibition History in the Making. Both synthetic and natural materials, when employed in a system of design and making, represents a constellation of ideas, choices, values, and principles configuring in a moral culture. This is a complex and confronting reality, not only for designers, makers, and manufacturers, but for all of us.